what I got here. Live.
4 minutes, we're live here from Tint World. There in the Greek.
We're just not going to bring that nonsense.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another edition of the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, here live from Tint World in Pinellas Park, along with
a tent.
your tent.
Tint.
Tent.
Can we go TINT?
T-I-N-T, tent.
Jesus, Peter.
Yes. Live here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television with Harry the Greek, which, I'll turn this down here because we're just... How's that, huh?
You know what? I swear to God, I'm going to take Stream Deck.
Uh-huh. Stream Deck, you going to take it out?
No, little Louie and Leo, I'm going to do everybody a favor. This is going to go bye-bye because it's coming home with the Greek.
It's coming on with you?
Yes, it is.
That's how it goes. All right. So we're here live.
How you doing, Pete?
I'm doing good, man. How are you doing?
You know what? I couldn't be any better if I was you. I swear to God.
Yes.
Wait a minute. I don't want to be you. You're broke.
You're such a jerk. Thanks a lot for tuning in today, man. Should we do bring your passion? We'll do it quietly. Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. Now I feel better.
No, I'm bringing all the nonsense.
You
today.
always
But
bring
know
the
what?
nonsense
I'll tell you
here.
what, Pete,
Yes.
It's very rare that they get to have both of us together instead of the split screen.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, and it's nice to have you.
Pete, today we're at Tint World. It's
Yes.
Automotive, residential, commercial, and marine repair. What they do is a whole bunch of tinting. Lots of tinting, Pete. Nope, it doesn't look great.
No, it doesn't.
Nope.
It doesn't. I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and take a quick break here really quick. Sorry about this. We're having, again, a little bit of internet trouble. So let's go ahead and rectify this
But hold on.
situation.
Yes. It might not be as bad as you think. That could be just your phone.
It might be my phone.
Well,
It might actually be my...
Momento, por favor.
Yeah, it's blurry. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
It's quite blurry.
Yeah. All right. So let's go ahead and take a break really quick because we were trying to test this out. Stand by.
We're here in the Keeneland room where a lot of VIPs take betting very seriously. And I have found no one other than Harry the Greek, I've been told is your name.
Absolutely. It's Harry the Greek. How are you?
Doing great. How about you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Now tell me some of the bets you have for today.
Oh, for sports with FanDuel?
Any.
Unbelievable. I got some really good upsets this week. I actually played the Bears in the money line, and my upset special is the New York Jets.
Oh, got a sleeper. I like it. Okay, what about for the horse racing today?
Races, a lot of pick fives, pick fours. We're having a fabulous time out here with Keeneland. And I'll tell you what, it's great to be part of DVG and FanDuel.
I love to hear that. And so for anyone that's maybe at home that's new to sports betting at all, what advice would you want to give them?
The one bit of advice, I actually give it out on my podcast at the end. Keep your bets low and your returns high. That's the most important thing. Always stay within your means, but always keep your bets low and your returns high.
Definitely like that safe betting for sure. All right, well, thank you so much and good luck today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on.
Back to you all. We're here in the Keeneland room where a lot of VIPs take betting very seriously. And I have found no one other than Harry the Greek, I've been told is your name.
Absolutely. It's Harry the Greek. How are you?
Doing great. How about you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Now tell me some of the bets you have for today.
Oh, for sports with FanDuel?
Any.
Unbelievable. I got some really good upsets this week. I actually played the Bears in the money line, and my upset special is the New York Jets.
Oh, got a sleeper. I like it. Okay, what about for the horse racing today?
Races, a lot of pick fives, pick fours. We're having a fabulous time out here with Keeneland. And I'll tell you what, it's great to be part of DVG and FanDuel.
I love to hear that. And so for anyone that's maybe at home that's new to sports betting at all, what advice would you want to give them?
The one bit of advice, I actually give it out on my podcast at the end. Keep your bets low and your returns high. That's the most important thing. Always stay within your means, but always keep your bets low and your returns high.
Definitely like that safe betting for sure. All right, well, thank you so much and good luck today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on.
Back to you all.
Okay, I think we're back now. So there you go.
You think we're back?
Yeah, I think we're back. Yes.
I don't know.
I don't know what we had here, but the situation is different with this with the internet here.
It
so
has to be something to do with Pinellas Park. I don't know.
yeah. Stand by here. Stand by. Stand by. Stand by. Stand by. Let me go back out to you again.
We're here in the Keeneland room where a lot of VIPs take betting very seriously. And I have found no one other than Harry the Greek, I've been told is your name.
Absolutely. It's Harry the Greek. How are you?
Doing great. How about you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Now tell me some of the bets you have for today.
Oh, for sports with FanDuel? Unbelievable. I got some really good upsets this week. I actually played the Bears in the money line, and my upset special is the New York Jets.
Oh, got a sleeper. I like it. Okay, what about for the horse racing today?
Races, a lot of pick fives, pick fours. We're having a fabulous time out here with Keeneland. And I'll tell you what, it's great to be part of DVG and FanDuel.
I love to hear that. And so for anyone that's maybe at home that's new to sports betting at all, what advice would you want to give them?
The one bit of advice, I actually give it out on my podcast at the end. Keep your bets low and your returns high. That's the most important things. Always stay within your means, but always keep your bets low and your returns high.
Definitely like that safe betting for sure. All right, well, thank you so much and good luck today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on.
Back to you all.
Okay. I think we're here. I think we're better now. All right, there we go.
Who are those two good-looking guys?
I have no
Or
idea.
the one good-looking
I do
guy?
apologize for that. I don't know what the heck is going on. You get everything set up. You're here.
I think we have to have Sean come on because I think the show will get a little bit better. You know, Sean, you got to come over here just for a second.
He doesn't want to get on. He told me he does not want to
see,
get
Sean,
on.
The problem with this is that
Yes.
Pete brings all the high-dollar audio equipment with him, okay? I mean, he's got the lights, he's got the camera, he's got the computer.
Yep.
I'm going to embarrass you here a little bit.
It's okay.
He brings a $5 upload for internet.
Well, it's T-Mobile, but for some reason it's not working itself out
But
today.
it looks like we are actually working.
We are working,
Jesus,
yes.
man. Welcome
yes.
to the revolution or the evolution.
The
Which one's it
evolution
gonna
of
be
sports
today?
talk
I want
television,
to call
yes.
it a revolution for this internet you got me going on for your Pete. My Lord. Can we try this again?
Yeah, we can.
Let's
We're good.
do it.
We're good, man. We're good. All right. So let's go out to the comments here. Afternoon Peep says Christopher Cole.
Yeah.
I do apologize for that. It's a little blurry.
We're really not running the sound effects.
Yeah,
today,
we are.
Oh no.
Yeah, we are. We did run it, right?
Hold on.
Did we run
The
it?
first person that comes up here gets a $100 bill and they get to smash this right on the ground.
So you're offering money now
Hang on,
for
hold
people.
on. Now the owner of the
Look at
company's
the
coming
owner
by.
is coming right now as we speak. So we're live here at Tint World 6790 in
Don't tell
Pinellas
him where
Park.
it's at. I don't want to give him the 100.
Well, they may come up here
I'm
now.
only kidding.
Tent World right there. So, guys, thanks a lot for tuning in here. Appreciate it. Looking good. All right, there we go. So that's how it goes sometimes. Welcome to the wonderful world of streaming. We do apologize for that delay, but let's get to it, man. Mike Evans, the comments yesterday by Jerry Rice, which is always encouraging, if you will.
What did Jerry say?
Well, you know, Mike Evans tied Jerry Rice last year with the 1,000 consecutive receiving mark there, 11 straight 1,000-yard receiving. And he said, and of course, Evans was hoping he could do it last year, did it, went second last play of the game versus the Saints. And this is what 49er icon Jerry Rice had to say in the Players Tribune. You know that I'm pulling for you, right? That usually is not a thing that happens with guys, legends, you know, surpassing records. They're usually bitter. They're usually petty. They usually are like the guys, and like we talk about the NBA, get off our lawn. They're kind of like that. So this is encouraging. And then, of course, Evans' response to the legend, that means more to me than you could ever know. So I appreciate that, OG. You are the original. This is so surreal right now. This is surreal for me that you know who I am. So there you go. Mike Evans and again with Jerry Rice commenting on that. And, you know, for me, I thought, you know, with Evans tying Jerry Rice and eventually surpassing him, because I think he will, knock on wood. Hopefully he doesn't have an injury with that explosive offense with Baker Mayfield. He's a first-time Hall of Famer. He's a first-ballot Hall of Famer. Now, this is what Pro Football Focus's Ryan Smith had to say. Evans made history last season, tying Jerry Rice for the most consecutive seasons, topping 1,000 receiving yards despite missing time with the hamstring injury. He was elite in Tampa Bay's wild card playoff loss to the Commanders, a 91-point overall grade. Harry the Greek, we all know how you love those overall grades
I can't
when it comes
stand when
to it.
people talk about PFF grades.
Right.
Okay, because when you're a professional handicapper and you've been watching games, I don't use a book to tell me how good a player is. You know what I use?
Mm-hmm.
The two things that God gave me above my nose when I'm watching a game. I can tell you who's good, who isn't. Just
Right.
like 2/3 of the people out there, Pete. You know, a lot of people don't give the fans a lot of credit.
Mm-hmm.
They are very intelligent.
Right.
Okay, first off, because they tune into the show and they watch us.
Well, usually, hopefully they do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because they're not trying to get bad picks.
Right. Well, you're trying to give out some picks today, right?
No, I'm not.
No,
giving
we're getting out picks.
Zero.
And by the way, the Rays lose to the Twins. They are in the 9th inning. So if you want to talk Rays baseball, we can definitely do that. And also, may have lost their shortstop. You can't make this stuff up. He hasn't played since last year, comes back, and may have a leg injury, hamstring, something along those lines, stealing third base.
Is Wander available yet?
Don't even start with that.
just
Don't
wanna
even
start
start. Yeah, don't even. Yes.
Where are the trolls at? I mean, I thought you guys wanted Wander
Well,
Franco back.
I think listen, they got Junior Caminero at this
or
point.
Or is he too busy hanging out with a 14-year-old? Which one is it?
They've closed the book on that. They have turned the
They
page.
can turn the
on
page
that.
100 different ways
But
to Sunday.
it kind of is like
Pete,
with
stop.
the Kim stuff. You know, getting him back
Did they
finally
turn the
in
page
the
on Pete
lineup.
Rose until he died? Did they turn the page on all the other athletes that have done something wrong?
They've turned the
And
page.
by the way, Pete Rose, you know, has been a very good friend of mine for many years.
Yes.
God rest his soul.
Yes.
Okay. And I'm the one who said that the man never deserved to be in the Hall of Fame because I know specific things that had happened before in the past.
Right.
Remember, I have his transcripts from all the court proceedings.
Mm-hmm.
But someone did get the 3,000 hits. Now, we're not trying to compare Pete Rose to Wander Franco, okay? I mean, that's just like trying to compare a watermelon to a cherry,
Right.
for God's sake.
Right.
Okay. But do the Tampa Bay Rays continue to pay the guy? Are they going to pay him?
No.
Does he have a chance of back in the major leagues?
No.
None,
Not at all.
right?
None.
Okay, but
Zero.
I'm just trying to stir the
Zero
the
chance,
for
as
that.
you would say. Zero chance.
Zero.
Zero chance. And they will get that money back, by the way, from Major League Baseball. They will. But going back to it,
But he
Kim,
doesn't play again.
everybody was looking forward to putting walls out there on the street because he has his offensive difficulties. Defensively, he's a lot better than a lot of Rays fans give him credit for. They get Kim back, Hassan Kim. Hopefully I'm pronouncing his name right. And he gets hurt, leg injury, stealing third base. You just can't make this up. And this Rays team, listen, they're up and down. And I love what they're doing. The Blue Jays right now are
Pete,
hot. The AL East is,
Pete,
I get it's a long
Pete,
season.
Pete,
Yes,
it's
yes,
called
yes.
Ebbs and flows.
It is ebbs and flows, my
Okay,
friend.
They
Ebbs and
played
flows.
Great baseball for a month and a half.
Yes,
Now they've come back. I hate to use the word reality, but they've
Mhm.
come down a little bit.
a little bit.
That doesn't mean that they can't get hot again. Right now, they're going to go on a 10-game road trip. This is going to be another test. But do you know when that really great baseball started to happen? Do you remember when it was? Do you remember when they started playing? Can I tell you when it was?
When they had a players meeting?
Incorrect.
Go ahead, give it to me.
When they went on a 10-game road trip out west.
Right.
That's when it all started.
Well, they got a 10-game road trip,
Again,
and
you have a
it starts
10-game
with
road
the Minnesota Twins. It began
And
with the
remember, they
Minnesota
couldn't-
Twins.
And you remember they couldn't win anything at home.
Yes,
Seriously.
I know.
They couldn't find their ass with a shovel if they tried.
I know.
It just couldn't have. It just didn't happen. But they can consistently go back and play baseball like they did the past month and a half.
Correct.
Again, so what? They lost the series. Big deal. They're going to come back. This is a 3-ray race right now, and it's before the All-Star break. But the one that wins is the one that's going to have the deepest pockets. But unfortunately,
Mhm.
the New York Yankees right now have the deepest pockets. But here's the problem. They don't have 1 or 2 holes to fill. They just lost another pitcher. They got 5 or 6 holes to fill.
Yeah.
You
So-
can't possibly do that. But I'm going to make you a prediction.
Make me a prediction.
They fire their manager just after the All-Star break if they're not in first place. Would you like to make a wager on it?
Who?
The Yankees.
You think so?
Oh, God, he's horrible. That, my friend, right there, and I'm not a Yankee hater. I'm not a hater of any team, but he's done. Absolutely done. There is no way that you can field a ball club, be that many games over 500, not let one team catch you, but both? Are you serious?
Yes.
This is worse than the collapse of what the 1969 Cubs did for the Miracle Match.
Well, that would be monumental if that happens.
No, this is monumental. It's even more. They've given up more games.
I think the Yankees are so overrated at this point.
Yeah, they got deep pockets. You'll never be overrated.
Well, they're deep pockets, and you're getting further away from me at this point as we're sitting here at the table here live.
What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get closer to you.
Tint World here, 6790 in Pinellas Park here live on the Evolution. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire. As your phone is ringing right now, I'm surprised that our phone's not ringing.
If you have a question or a comment for Peter the Greek, call 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391.
Listen to
Please
you.
Don't call this phone number.
Yeah, why are we calling? Why are you calling Harry the Greek? What is that? Is that a telemarketer? Because that's a 1-800 number. 1-800. Please lose my number on a Saturday.
No, buddy, that's you calling.
That is not me calling at all.
That's great enough to suck right there.
I swear to God, if you hit that stream deck again, I got to hear one of these more stupid sound effects. I am personally going to tell my friend Sean, who I just met.
Yes. What's his last name? Because I don't want to butcher it.
Lemaitre.
See? Boom. There it is right there. There's a victory right there. Victory! All right. Good stuff. I have to hit my sound effects. That's how I feel good about everything that's going on right now.
That's like a baby with his whoopee.
Maybe. Maybe.
Why so serious?
So if you want to talk Tampa Bay Rays baseball after they dropped the opener yesterday on July 4th, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. We can also talk Bucs football. We talked about uniforms. Do you care? You've been a long time Bears fan. You've been a long time Bucs fan. They show Steve Spurrier in a tease, which, by the way, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers do a phenomenal job when it comes to their social media. You have the head ball coach there, HBC, so everybody assumes. And I was talking to Louie about this of the Frozen Pirate podcast, and he was showing the red numbers and the white on white. And I said, no, you're missing it. They're going to go creamsicle, white on white with creamsicle numbers. The first year, the first starting quarterback was Steve Spurrier. So they're foreshadowing to that. Do you have any care at all? Because that's going to be revealed July 15th by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on their road uniform, if you will, a road release. Do you have any care about the uniforms? No?
No,
not at all. You don't care? You don't care about creamsicle?
Creamsicles?
Yes.
No, I don't care about creamsicles.
Okay.
No, I don't.
Okay, so
I got to say one thing.
Yes.
I know the webheads are not used to seeing any kind of show breakout, any kind of information at 12 o'clock. He forced me to do this today.
I did. And by the way, I was up until 3 o'clock in the morning last night driving Uber around town. It was a good night. It was a good night. It was a good night out there driving the Tesla.
Pete, but I do have some questions for you.
Go for it.
Seriously, especially about the Bucs.
Go for it.
We're in the preseason right now. Do you see them making any moves?
No.
Especially on the defensive line, and I do though.
No. I think they're happy with what they have, and it's what we went over here the last couple of weeks, like the last month, with Elijah Roberts, with David Walker, with Hassan Reddick.
But you do know how many defensive linemen and linebackers and quality players are going to get cut from some of these other teams. See, that's why I wanted to ask you this $1 million question.
Is there a possibility of it if there is an injury? But I feel like Jason Light and this organization have drafted for a purpose, if you will. You draft multiple cornerbacks. Why? Because you're not going to go after a veteran unless there's a major injury. That's why they didn't make a trade for Jalen Ramsey. Are you going to go for a pass rusher? Most likely you're not going to. Why? Because you're happy with what you have. You're happy with Walker. You're happy with Elijah Roberts. You're happy with Hassan Reddick. You're happy with Yaya Diaby and Anthony Nelson. And oh, by the way, we continue to forget this kid and think of him as an afterthought, but he's really not an afterthought. Second-round pick from Alabama last year, Chris Braswell, who only had 1 sack. They're anticipating, possibly a Nolan Smith type of turnaround here. For the Tampa Bay Bucs.
That's a pretty high expectation.
Well, you see what he did. You see what he did with the Philadelphia Eagles. So I think that's what Jason Light and the organization are anticipating.
I will tell you who's going to have a breakout year.
Who's going to do it?
Yaya Diaby.
And I think my guy, Kalijah Kancey, is going to do something.
Well, Kalijah Kancey, if he does something, it's not something that's going to be unexpected.
Well,
because Kalijah Kancey, if you remember correctly, I compared him to an Aaron Donald type of player. I didn't say he was an Aaron Donald.
Right.
Same stature, same frame, same size, same school. I mean, there's so many of the same things that they, that they inherit, just naturally.
Yes.
But unfortunately, he has not been able to stay healthy. However, with the additions of some of the people that they're putting on the defensive line right now, he's going to be a situational player, which is going to allow to keep him fresh. Those legs are going to be fresh, and they're going to be able to get after the quarterback. Because I'm going to tell you right now, Todd Bowles is definitely not going to allow this defense to play like it has the past couple of years, primarily because of the injuries. He hasn't had the astute backups that are sitting on the bench. That 2/3 of some of these backups, believe it or not, on linebackers and the defensive lines could be starters on a lot of teams in the National Football League.
Yeah.
This team is starting to form defensively very similar to what the Philadelphia Eagles have been for the past 2 years. Yes, I said that. That is how good this defense has the capabilities and the potential of being. Because right now, there are the Philadelphia Eagles in the NFC, and then there's the rest. But if this Buccaneer defense can play close to what Philadelphia did with this offense and the running game, it could be lights out this year.
Definitely could be lights out.
We're kind of piggybacking from what we were talking about on Wednesday, Peter.
Yeah, we are. And listen, I have the question out there for Bucs fans and for you after the Todd Bowles extension. Does that give him more grace, if you will? Can he have a sigh of relief? Because you can never have a sigh of relief, if you will, if you're an NFL coach. People are coming in right now here. We're expecting, some people maybe to get on.
We'll have to
come on the evolution of sports talk television, and we'll see maybe Ray Kennedy, because he was doing his radio show today, the St. Pete Tampa Bay Sports Connection, or St. Pete.
Ray's doing a good job. He talks to about 4 square blocks around Fergs.
Right, there you go.
But he is.
But he was talking about the Rays.
Live,
he's talking about the Rays.
I want his opinion, though.
On what? On Todd Bowles? My thing is,
Rays.
Okay, well, we'll talk about the Rays, but going back to Todd Bowles and that extension, does that give him some pause for cause, if you will, or is there more pressure on him because he gets that extension? It's going to be 3 years until 2028, according to them. Is that pressure off of him? Should the national media or media in general be talking about Todd Bowles once again being on the hot seat? Yes or no?
Yes, I would say yes.
Okay. And by the way, if you don't know what that is Jake Odorizzi, who used to pitch for the Tampa Bay Rays. That is his Escalade out there getting tinted.
He left his Lamborghini at home.
Yes. You took it for a joyride, right? No. So they do great work here.
Actually, I put tires on his car years ago.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And a couple of other players.
How about that? There you go. All right, let's go out to Joe Sway here. What's up, guys, from Atlanta, Georgia?
Joe Sway, what's up from Atlanta?
He says, standing at the side of Hank Aaron, home run 715, the true, in my opinion, the true home run champion of all time, not Barry Bonds. It's not Barry Bonds.
No, it's not.
Any debate? Okay.
It's Babe Ruth.
No, it's Hank Aaron.
No, it's Babe Ruth.
Really? Why?
It's just, come on, Pete. They were playing with broomsticks back then and hitting baseballs that were 3 pounds. What are you kidding me? And today they're like, well, we can make a baseball go farther. We can make it tighter. It's almost like watching an old TV sitcom from the late 70s. You remember the $6 Million Man?
Yes.
Okay, that's how they did baseballs, okay? I mean, are you kidding me? I mean, the baseball fields, left field down the line was 400 feet, and yet you're putting a limited baseball with an inferior bat, and you're still parking them. So if you want to tell me that today's baseball players are bigger, faster, and stronger, you're probably right. But I would take those same baseball players and give them the same equipment and put them back in the late teens, the 20s, and the 30s, and the 40s, and I promise you, you would not have the same amount of home runs. And if you dare to challenge me on that, call me. Let me know.
What's the number?
727-255-0391.
There you go. Exactly.
255-0391. I'm the Greek. This is Pete. You know I have to do
it's the Sports Web. I had to do it. I had to do it. Because, listen, I come out here and listen, this is how it works. Like, I can't scream at work because I got too much of a well, I know. And now we're live here from Tint World.
Yeah, with an I.
Yes.
And an N.
I don't know why people keep on saying I'm saying it wrong. I'm trying my best here. I'm going to kill you guys at this point.
Hi, Pete. Do you want a tint job?
Will you shut up and be quiet? See? So here's the story. story though. I do sales for a living, lead generation on the phone. So, sometimes I want to just take my head and stick it in an oven because I can't deal with it. I get told my voice is too loud there. I go home, try to do my show, pay my rent, make sure the house is, somewhat clean, and still get yelled at for being too loud.
They also do ceramic coating.
They do. They do. And they do stereo systems. They do all kinds of stuff here from Tint World.
Headlight restoration.
Yes.
I did have a question though. And again, we're just.
And by the way, they've taken care of me in the past.
And just to let you know that I'm just kind of new walking in here, but everybody knows that I'm in the automotive industry.
Yes, you are.
I do have a question for Sean, and Sean, you can holler from across the room. The tint that you use, is it computer generated and it comes out in one piece?
Yeah, it's all computer cut. Actually, if you look just beyond you guys, out the window,
right?
That's the large plotter out there that we put your vehicle information in, and then it.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me explain something to you about this because I know a little bit about window tint, and I've had quite a few cars tinted from before. When you get a tint job on your car, when you have a guy that's coming out to your vehicle and they're usually using a razor blade and they're cutting it in 2 and 3 pieces, the likelihood of that tint peeling in the next couple of years is very, very, very strong. When you're using a high-grade type of film in a tint and you have a computer, all they do is they add and they implement the year, make, and model of the vehicle, sometimes the VIN, and all of a sudden these sheets start to spit out because everything is perfectly cut. And 99 times out of 100, they can install that entire window in one piece. You don't have lines, no markings. It's not the cheapest in the world, but I promise you it'll be the last tint job you'll ever do to your vehicle.
Absolutely. So get out here.
Was 60, I about right on that? Yep.
It is lifetime guaranteed. So. See, there you go. Any of the listeners out there who want to stop in, and we got to do this again, you get a $50 discount.
Or how about this? I'm going to give the owner even a little bit more pressure.
Any
listener that catches this on this show comes in not only today, but all week long will receive that gift card. Is that okay with you? Because I'll tell you what, our reach is over 500,000. It just takes about a week for it to keep going. That's all.
Because of the internet?
Because half the people that tune into the show don't tune in until later. Is
God.
What it is. It just kind of developed. It's we call it.
How about you?
You and those stupid ass sound effects, Pete. I swear I want to kill you.
I got to do it. It keeps you on your toes.
Oh my Lord. You keep me on my toes. It's blasting me.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh, okay. We got to turn.
Let me.
We got to turn you down. Right. Well, go ahead and push one of them.
No, I don't want to push any of them.
Why not?
Why? Because they're annoying.
Are they?
Yes.
We'll go push that one right there.
It's almost annoying like you.
Well, that's the reason why we do a show together. How many years have we been doing the show together?
Too
By the
many.
way, partner, happy birthday.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. What did you do on your birthday?
I don't remember. I'm getting that old. I can't remember what my birthday did.
There you go. Do you go? All right. So maybe you remember what you did.
I went to Tint World
what did
with
you?
an N.
There you go. I hate you. I really do. I'm never saying it. I'm never saying it again.
I need
Tint World.
I need to change
Tint.
about $4 $100 bills in the singles. Everybody come
Tint
on down.
World.
You see this here.
Tint World, 6790 in Pinellas Park, right there. TJ Hicks says, "Do you think Sanders has a chance on the Bucs?" It's been talked about.
Talking about Shador?
Yes, not Shador. Shiloh.
I got you.
Oh my God.
Shiloh. Yes,
Shiloh.
I do think you're going to see a chance for him to get on.
In what capacity? Special teams?
It's going to be strictly special teams. Don't be surprised he doesn't actually make the team this year. He might be put on the practice squad. But I assure you, the reason why they really like this young man, he's very quick. His hips are a little bit tight. He's got a lot of upside. He cannot cover very well, but he's definitely a player that can drop into the box.
Yeah.
He's definitely a thumper, and he's going to be an extreme, huge asset to special teams. You understand, special teams is probably one of the most important positions to fill.
Agree. Completely agree. And I think there's a lot of excitement here, not only for Sanders, but of course, the big hoss there in the middle from Florida Gators, Desmond Watson, very raw.
He's another one that
some people say camp meet. Some people say he won't make the team.
Listen, he's another one. I'm telling you, he may not make the football team.
Right.
Because he's just too, for lack of better words, fat.
But he's been losing weight.
I don't
been
care.
Losing weight.
He's got to get below the 400-pound mark.
Right.
Okay. But he's I'll tell you what, he's definitely, him and Vita Vea would be just absolutely devastating.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he also makes the practice squad.
Okay.
Okay, they have too many other players that have to be able to make this football team to be able to make an impact.
Look at that. We got a customer come in here, and he's probably wondering, because they set us up really well here out in the corner, and I wanted to show this.
At Tint World with an N.
Yes, Tint World with an N. Here, 6790 in Pinellas Park. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire. I got to do it. So you like that, right?
Of course.
Okay, and again, open phone lines if you want to talk about the what? Who cares?
Who cares?
Oh, you like that one?
Shut up!
That one?
No.
Oh, this one.
Oh my God! Who the hell cares?
See, that's what we do. So we'll be doing this live, and we're getting ready for the season coming up with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Of course, I want to go back to what they said about Evans because I know you're a pro football focus junkie. And you love those grades. He was elite in Tampa Bay's wild card playoff loss to the Commanders, which, by the way, Marshawn Lattimore, where he schooled him.
One of my favorite players of all time.
He schooled him. He scored 91.8 overall grade, dominating longtime rival Marshawn Lattimore.
I always love watching Marshawn Lattimore when he's up against Mike Evans because I think the guy's a punk.
He is a punk, and he looks like he's washed up. He caught all 6 targets thrown his way to the matchup for 84 yards and a touchdown while also drawing a defensive pass interference penalty. Earlier this month, Evans commented that this year's Buccaneer wide receiving room might be the best he's been a part of in his career. He'll be joined by fellow veteran standout Chris Godwin, coming off an injury. So we'll see if he comes back, if he's going to be 100%. When is he going to come back? Let me ask you this. A lot of people, a lot of Bucs fans concerned about that. And they say the reason why the Bucs drafted Emeka Egbuka in the first place is because maybe Godwin isn't fully 100%. Do you expect him to be 100% by training camp? Do you think he starts week 1? Or is there a possibility in the Greek's mind here that he may start out not necessarily 100%. Maybe the Bucs kind of baby him a little bit and play the other wide receivers until they get him 100%.
Do you want the fans' answer?
I want the Greek's answer. Give me the realistic answer from the Greek.
All right, Pete, I'm going to say it one more time.
Yes.
Okay. The first part of the question. Why did I draft the wide receiver Emeka Egbuka?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, because you're gonna correct me on Tint World.
It's with an N, not
Tint.
T-I-N-T.
I said it, Tint World.
But Emeka Egbuka.
Yes,
okay.
Emeka.
Yeah, whatever. I keep doing that.
Emeka, tomato.
They drafted him not because Godwin isn't going to be ready. I mean, they played the whole second half of the season without Godwin anyway, and they had tremendous success, right?
Right.
Okay, so can we just put that narrative to bed? I'm going to tell you why they drafted this wide receiver.
Go ahead, tell me.
They drafted it because this potentially could be the last year for Mike Evans.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and they have a little insurance policy in case Chris Godwin, which more than likely will not be ready for the first part of the season, that he can be partially the focal point on the other side.
Right.
Okay. But the Buccaneers do have a plethora of wide receivers.
Listen to you using big words at this point. Leo word.
I understand that. But what I'm saying is Egbuka was brought in for multiple reasons.
Right.
Possibility that Mike Evans could be playing his final year.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Godwin might be a little bit of it. But how about if we just say he's a really good football player, and they just couldn't pass up on this particular wide receiver?
No, I think it's
no
an astute point.
Other than that,
because he's in the mold of Chris Godwin. He can run great routes. Great character.
Don't expect the 10 catches a game to start. The whole.
You don't think he makes a big impact right away?
No.
So you think it's like a Jalen McMillan type of situation where it takes him a while? Because it took Jalen McMillan.
It's not that it's going to take him a while. It's how much trust is this offense going to be able to put into a rookie wide receiver when they have veterans that have been out there that have been battle tested already.
Right.
Why would you want to bring him out? And let's just say hypothetically they give him 15 targets in one game and he comes up with 5 catches.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how demoralizing it could be to a player?
Sure.
Okay. You can literally, but if you bring him in and in situations having him block or catching a screen, like a bubble screen coming off from one side, or sending him down the road, let him be instrumental in the game.
Yeah.
Okay. And, I understand the guy has precision routes. He runs precision routes. He's supposed to be really good.
Sure.
But without pads and with pads are two different things. And trust me, the first 2 or 3 games are not, it's going to be just so surreal for him. He's not really going to know where he's at. Very few players do. What's going to make him different?
Here's the tough thing, and we're on the sports web
That's
here.
why I said
live.
he's not going to make that impact in the beginning. I'm not saying he's not going to be an impactful player,
Right.
but put him in positions to make him impactful rather than forcing him into it and possibly ruining him.
Well, here's what, and Rondé Barber was talking about this on his show, saying, he catches everything. He's excited about him. The same type of deal happened last year in training camp with Jalen McMillan showing out, everybody thinking he's going to make an impact right away.
And did he?
And he did not.
Oh, there you go. You
So,
see what I'm
yeah,
saying?
right.
How many Justin Jeffersons are there?
Correct.
How many Jamar Chases are
Correct.
out there? Now he's not in
There's
that
a
zip
learning
code yet.
process. There's
Right.
a transition process to it. So you
And you have to remember,
I'm
these
an
DBs and these-
eternal optimist on this, and you know how I
and
do this show, but you have to be realistic about it.
But you got
He
to
hasn't done
remember-
anything yet on the football field.
Yeah, but Peter, also, you have to remember, people in the secondary,
Mm-hmm.
they were wide receivers. The reason why they're in the secondary is because they can't catch the football. But 90% of them that do play DB have extraordinarily great footwork.
Yeah,
Okay. So they may give him looks to bait him into certain things.
sure.
Okay. Those were the learning curves are going to be. And that's really digging into the X's and O's, which I'm not really prepared to do on such a small amount of time. But as far as the question you were talking about, I think the young man's going to be very impactful. I just don't think it's going to be right away. And if it is, it's even more of a bonus point. But I don't think they're going to have to rely on him so much in the beginning because of all the wide receivers and the talent that the Buccaneers currently have.
It's a good point. Open phone lines. If you want to talk about Mike Evans, of course, the big story, Jerry Rice backing Mike Evans, saying, I've basically in so many words, I want you to do it. I'm rooting for you, which again, is not seen or heard from a lot of guys out there. You didn't hear Michael Jordan say, or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar say, hey, I want LeBron to break the record. I never heard Michael Jordan say it at all, any support for LeBron. So when a legend, and for me, he is a legend. He's not just a top wide receiver in the NFL history. He is possibly one of the best players of all time, which is why I've said once Evans surpasses Jerry Rice, and let me ask you this, do you think he is a first ballot Hall of Famer? And could he go down as the greatest Tampa Bay Buccaneer of all time? Not just offensive player, the greatest of all time because of consistency, longevity, surpassing one of the greatest players in NFL history in Jerry Rice. Is that a fair assessment that Mike Evans could be the number one player in Bucs history?
I'm going to give you an open answer to that.
Go
okay?
for it.
All
Go
right.
for it.
He's already the best player for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Over Derek Brooks and over Leroy Selman.
It's not close.
All right.
And let me explain this. But
Sure.
Now you ask me, does he ever supplant Jerry Rice? Right?
I got you.
Here's the question I have for you when you put Jose on, okay?
Yes, we'll go out to Joe Sway in just a moment here. Stand by, Joe Sway. Go ahead. Hold on a minute for
No.
Harry.
Now, is he going to pass him? He can pass him statistically, but let me ask you this.
What's going on, guys?
Well, hold on, Joe Sway. Hold on. Go
Hold on
ahead.
just for a second.
Go ahead, Harry.
Here's the point I'm going to make. All records are meant to be broken, and a
Mhm.
lot of them have to do when you have particular remember back in the day it was 14 game seasons, 13 game seasons,
Sure.
16. Now there's 17 games,
Sure.
and pretty soon they're going to be 18 game seasons. So a lot of things can be skewed. I'm going to go back and talk about some of my roots with Walter Payton.
Mm-hmm.
People, if you were old enough and blessed enough to be able to watch probably arguably the best football player ever to put a set of pads on and put a set of cleats on.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't say running back, I said football player,
Right.
because there's so many things that he did. Pete, do you know he had 8 passes in his career and 7 of them were touchdowns?
No idea.
Okay. Did you know that the man took over 22,000 hits and missed one ball game?
I had
Did
no
you know
idea
that he won a game and ran for 270 yards on a broken kneecap?
That's amazing stuff.
Okay. But then all of a sudden the guy plays 2 more years like an Emmitt Smith and he breaks his record. Does that make Emmitt better than Walter? No,
No,
it doesn't. Does it make Walter Payton better than Jim Brown, even though Jim Brown had to pass the torch?
I think a lot of people would say Barry Sanders is the better running back of overall.
Well, if we're talking statistically,
Statistically,
Okay.
right.
but in my opinion,
Mhm.
it's the same thing.
Sure.
You're talking about 2 totally different players. I've seen, and I've been blessed enough to be able to watch Jerry Rice and Mike Evans.
Right.
Mike Evans, he may pass him completely.
And that's
But-
amazing to say the least, because you look at, and we'll get out to you, Josue, stand by.
Doesn't necessarily mean that he was a better football player.
He's a better player than Jerry Rice.
Jerry Rice
Agree.
was a special
Very,
player.
very special, especially on the quick slant there in the West
But-
Coast offense with Joe
but-
Montana and Steve Young later
But
on.
There
Yes.
was no. Do you know whose game Mike Evans mimics? Not so much Jerry Rice. You really want to know?
Boom.
Randy Moss.
Yes. And
Not
that's
as
his
much
and that's
speed.
his hero.
Right.
That's his hero.
And I've got to tell you, see two totally different players.
Right.
So, do I think that he's better? No, I don't believe that he's better than Jerry Rice, but all the accolades. And as far as the first ballot Hall of Famer, less than a year ago, we had a debate on a Monday night, and TJ Reeves had to come in and set me straight. And I stand to be corrected. I said, there's no way he's a first balloter, because I was ignorant enough to think, well, he's just not better than Jerry Rice. Why would they do that? I'll tell you why. Because of what he was able to do, not only for the team, but what he did in the National Football League. So I'm going to answer that question for you emphatically. Jerry Rice is a better football player. Mike Evans is a first ballot Hall of Famer.
But to that point, Josue, stand by. The what you appreciate about Mike Evans so much is because of the consistency. He never had a Joe Montana. He never had a Steve Young, and he's still being able to put up those numbers.
And the same thing I said about Walter Payton. How
Right.
about that? You ready for this?
Yes.
He had 16,500 yards, roughly like 21,000 total yards, including receiving.
Yeah.
Did you know in the first 10 years of Walter Payton's career, he didn't have not one offensive lineman make it to the Pro Bowl? And that's back in the day where they didn't disguise where the football was going. They had 4 plays. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Walter Payton left, Walter Payton right, Walter Payton up the middle, and Walter Payton run for his life.
Student body left, student body right here on the evolution.
And they used to put
Yes.
8, 9, and 10 in the box.
Right.
And you still couldn't stop
Still
them.
couldn't stop him.
You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
It's not fair to compare them.
And I think a lot of people say the same thing about Barry Sanders, because he didn't have great offensive line, didn't have a great quarterback.
Greatest running back ever to play the game. 1A, 1B would be Barry Sanders. 1A, 1B would have been Gale Sayers. Greatest football player. That's a different story. That's what I was trying to say, and that's where I call
Could
him
be
Walter
Jerry
Payton.
Rice. Could be Jerry. All right, let's go out to Josue here. Josue, welcome to the evolution here.
Hi, Josue.
What's good? What's good, Harry? What's good, Peter?
You got to pump this up a little bit, man. It's Saturday. You're putting me to sleep here. Go ahead and start again. Go ahead and pump this up a little bit.
Well, can you guys hear me?
I can hear you now. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, what's good? What's going on? How y'all doing?
Doing great, man. We're talking Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Mike Evans. Yeah.
So I have a question. So you mentioned the records and stuff. So would Hank Aaron ask or give a blessing to Barry Bonds when he had broke his home run record back, 20 years ago or so?
Well, to that point, though, he came back after finding out about the steroid allegations, and I get they're allegations, but if you're going to tell me a guy who's in the twilight of his career is going to hit that many home runs, what was it, 58 one year and then 71, and his head is just overgrown at this point. When you get older, you're not supposed to play better. Tom Brady's the exception. But Barry Bonds,
fair, his head is still that way. But go ahead.
Okay, but the point is that Hank Aaron actually came out and I believe he dismissed the record. Did he not?
I'm not sure.
I believe he did.
To be honest, I'm not well versed on that part of the history lesson.
Listen, Barry Bonds is always going to have.
Look at it.
There's always going to be an asterisk next to Barry Bonds' name.
Right.
And Sammy Sosa. You know who? Do you know who they're
Roger
never going to have
Clemens.
and Roger Clemens and and so many other players. But you know who there's not going to be an
Mhm.
asterisk next to?
Mhm.
A Frank Thomas.
Right. Because there is no
Ken Griffey Jr.
right.
Ken Griffey Jr. There's so many people that played the game the right way. But you know what? With all in all being said, steroids may have helped him hit the ball a little bit further because they were a lot stronger.
Mhm.
But Josue, you probably know more about baseball than by accident than I'm ever going to learn on purpose. But correct me if I'm wrong here. You're still trying to hit a round object with a round object. I don't care how many steroids you take. It's the hardest thing you can do.
And by the way, I got something for you here. Just looking it up because Google is your friend, and I'm being the producer / host here. Hank Aaron on Barry Bonds' use of steroids. It's hard for me to digest because, again, back then those players did it the natural way, the right way. Didn't have steroids and performance-enhancing drugs.
I also remember when Barry Bonds was just a little bit taller than you and about 10 pounds lighter than you.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Take a
Skinny
look
guy that could still bases.
Take a look at the guy who developed puberty and acne at the age of 40 years old. Okay. I mean,
right.
It's just not natural. But I mean, I'd love to hear your take on this, Josue. I mean, how hard is it? I mean, you're an umpire. I mean, how hard is it for a guy to hit a round object with another round object, and you have less than 0.2 of a second to react from the time the ball is coming off the guy's arm and hitting the home plate? I mean, explain to the people out there, and not so much the analytics, but just the theory on how hard it is to play baseball.
Well, as someone that's played the game up until college, I can tell you that it's all about timing and about your swing path.
Mm-hmm.
So, like the elite great hitters, like Tony Gwynn, for example, I would put him at the top of the list as pure hitters that this sport has ever seen.
One of the greatest hitters I've ever seen. You're right.
I guess he was a big contact right on time. Like, you have to basically, when the pitcher is getting ready to deliver, you have to be able to be ready and set to hit and recognize the spin and recognize what pitch it is, like right in that split second. Not only that, you have to be able to connect on time. So you hear a lot of coaches these days, telling hitters, hey, be on time. Well, you want to be on time, because if you're early, you're going to yank a lot of pitches and you're not going to get the results that you want. And if you're late, you're probably going to miss it, or you're going to be spraying a lot of balls into the opposite field, to which they might. Or if you are late to a pitch, and it's also about the location. Like you when you are trying to hit an outside pitch, you want to go with it. That's why Tony Gwynn was so elite at going the other way with the baseball. You're also recognizing that as well.
I appreciate the analogy. Hold on, Josue. I really appreciate the analogy, but what I'm really trying to drive home is I want you to tell people, as you being an umpire, forget about playing the game. You're sitting behind home plate. You got less than 0.2 of a second to be able to react and make contact with a round object, with another round object coming into you at sometimes at 90 to 100 miles an hour. Give the listeners out there an idea on how difficult it is to do that. Because the reality is this: if you make it to the major leagues, and every 10 at-bats that you get, if you get a base hit, not a home run, just a base hit, successfully reaching base by hitting the baseball, 3 out of 10 times in any sport, you're fired. Except for baseball, you'd be considered almost a Hall of Famer. So I want you to tell people, why is it so hard to be able to to play the game of baseball?
I believe because it's all about the mentality. You have to be very mentally strong to play the game and to officiate the game too, because you're going to have moments where you're not going to be as locked in as you're supposed to be every time. Like the term, when you have a hot hitter, like he's locked in. You got to be able to find, and the elite players, they know how to do it more consistently than others.
Mm-hmm.
And the ones that are developing, you just gotta. It's a gift. It's to a lot of players, to the elite players of today's game, like it's a gift. Really, there's no amount of you gotta practice. There's no amount of times in the cage and stuff to perfect your swing or to perfect your average and stuff. It's just pretty much. It's kind of like when basketball players shoot 1,000 threes every pregame or every shoot around, and then they go out and they shoot 1 for 10 from the 3-point line. You know what I'm saying? It's like some guys just have it and some guys just don't. It's just a reality of the situation.
Going back to Mike Evans here. So do you I was going to ask Harry about prop bets. I know you don't like prop bets, but what do you think the percentage is? And I'll throw this out to fans. Do you think Mike Evans, what's the percentage in your mind right now for Mike Evans to surpass Jerry Rice this year? Right now, you can change this percentage if you want to in a couple months, but what's your percentage right now that you're thinking Mike Evans is going to be able to do this?
So is it total yards? Because didn't he break the single season touchdown?
No. We're just talking about 1,000 yards. 1,000-yard receiving. He's had 11 consecutive 1,000-yard receiving, tying Jerry Rice. In your mind, what's the percentage? What's the likelihood that Evans can surpass Rice this year?
I'd like to answer that.
Assuming he stays healthy, I would say 94%.
94%. Okay. All right, Joe Sway.
Hey, Joe Sway, thanks for the call, buddy.
Appreciate the call. Absolutely. Use the second call if you want to, my friend. Yeah, I mean, TJ Hicks says 100% at this point.
I'll give you my answer.
What's your answer?
Again, no hate mail, okay? Because I'm getting really.
By the way, we're going to do a new segment called Hate Mail with Harry the Greek.
Yeah, if you can continue to send me hate mail,
we're doing it. We're doing it. Anyway it goes. We're gonna put these people out there.
Anyway,
that's what we do here on the Sports Web. Stop doing that nonsense. By the way,
it took an extra game this year in one of the last plays of the game just to reach it
with the hamstring injury, right?
Okay, so let me be very clear. 50%. It is a feat that is so difficult to do, Pete. Eventually, streaks end.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at you, Pete, for a reason.
I know.
Because I know it hurts. Streaks have a tendency of ending. You can only be great for so long before you plateau. Mike, we've seen the plateau with Mike.
Yes.
That doesn't not make him not great.
Right.
It still makes him great. And I hope the listeners and the viewers out there understand exactly what I'm saying.
So you say 50% because of 50% father time. Okay.
And it's just because, and you know what's the benefit for him? It's the extra game. If they had one less game this year, it would even be less.
You're still in my thunder. That's the reason why it's going to be done, because this offense runs and revolves around Mike Evans, and with Chris Godwin not necessarily being 100%.
Let me tell you that 50% is high.
I think over 94%.
Oh wow,
I do. Maybe I'm the eternal optimist here, but Mike Evans has shown
you're the eternal optimist
and the eternal homer. Maybe.
No, I don't like. You know what? That's not a nice thing.
No, it's not a nice thing.
Don't call people homer. That's
my
job to call.
Don't call me a fan homer. Don't do that. Fanboy. Don't do that.
Okay, like when we talk about signed jerseys and stuff like that, we don't do that kind of stuff, do we, Pete?
Well, we do have a signed jersey from Levante David.
It was a little hint, Pete.
And yeah.
You're about to suck right there.
And then but that's how about this right here? Here it is.
Shut up!
Anyway, let me go ahead and tell you where we're at today. We're at Tint World, right here on 6790 US Highway 19 North, right here in Pinellas Park. No dancing poles. This is a place where they put tint on your car.
Yes.
Okay. Come in and see Sean Lemaitre. He's excellent. Nice shop manager. Nice owner. I mean,
Todd Sims also, shout him out. Thanks a lot for the opportunity, my friend, for having us out here, having this all set up. He had a table out here. He was ready to go. I mean, I came out here early this morning. I got my coffee. I was ready to set up, and I didn't even have to set up these lights. It looks good. Good looking shot.
No, it's a very, very nice location.
Yeah.
It's right here on US 19. It's just south of Park Boulevard on the right-hand side. You can't miss it.
6790 Pinellas Park, US Highway 19 North.
And you know
right
what?
There.
Here's a phone number. It's 727-341-9595. 727-341-9595. But if you want to talk dirty to Sean, you can call him on his cell phone at 727-215-3781. He takes all kinds of phone calls right here live at Tint World with an N. No dancing poles.
That's right. There you go. All right.
They're about ready to kick me out of
Michael
here,
says, good afternoon. Good afternoon to you. Yeah. TJ, what about Cecil Fielder? Cecil Fielder there.
Great hitter. You know what? I was talking to Roberto Hernandez.
By the way, I got a signed card from Cecil Fielder a long time ago when I was about 10 years old.
The hell cares?
Oh, you're going to do that?
Oh, my God. Who the hell cares?
I was just telling you something about Roberto Hernandez.
Well, go ahead. Continue. The thoughts pop into my mind sometimes.
The all-time saves leader for the Tampa Bay
Buccaneers.
Buccaneers.
We've had him on the Tampa Bay Rays, not the Buccaneers.
Well, you know what.
It'd be amazing if he were on the Buccaneers. He'd be a closer. What would Roberto play if he was going to play a position with how big he is?
You ready?
Go ahead.
Tight end or defensive end?
I could see that.
Can you imagine pissing him off? His hands, Roberto. Hey, hi, because I know you watched the show.
Yeah, hi, Roberto.
It's put your hand up.
Don't hurt me.
Put your hand up.
Yeah, okay.
It's like this big.
Well, it's huge.
No. It's when he had a baseball in his hand, he could actually. It's like, you know how some people can go around their wrist. He could palm the entire baseball and touch his thumb across the long side of the ball. It's
remember
really
when they do the
intimidating.
combines and they always measure the quarterback's hands. He would have no problem with that.
He definitely didn't have small
None.
hands.
No, you didn't. All right. Open phone line 727-255-0391 at 727-255-0391. TJ Hicks says 100%. That's the question out there. What do you think about Jerry Rice? His comments backing Mike Evans. I think they're
What
tremendous.
else is Jerry Rice going to do? Jerry Rice.
Well,
is one
he
of the
didn't have to say
classiest football
anything.
players.
He is a classy football player, and it just shows. But it's huge for Mike Evans, and then Mike Evans to respond. I didn't even think you knew who I was. Paraphrasing, kind of saying the same thing with I didn't even think you knew who I was. It's so big to. What did he exactly say there? Because again, I think it's just cool. I think it's just a cool thing.
I don't know.
I know what he said. I got it right in front of me here. He says again.
That
Means more to me than you could even know. So I appreciate that, OG. You are the original. This is so surreal right now. This is surreal for me that you know who I am.
Yeah, but you know what the funny thing is?
What's up?
Read actually what he says, because even he knows he is the original.
OJ, yeah. Well,
He's the
listen.
greatest.
I've never said.
It's the greatest.
Make no mistake about it. I'm not
No,
saying
but
Mike
there's people-
Evans is
but there-
better
but
than
there's-
Jerry
But
Rice.
there's people out there, Peter, that have this misconception that just because you break the record, it makes them better.
Right.
Don't you agree? There's variables.
Well, I think there's
Okay.
always that conversation with LeBron James, right?
Yeah,
He's the
and-
best player of all time because he
when they
surpassed
play-
Kareem and Michael Jordan.
When they
And it's not true.
when they play in a flop league
Right.
and they play in a league, that
3-point
you
league,
just talk
yes.
about- hang on. That's a technical. Okay, I mean, come on.
I mean, that's
Can
what it
you
looks like.
imagine-
I got shot
Yeah,
just now.
I honestly think that Mike Evans could have played. I don't think his career would have lasted as long as it has, but I think he could have played with tremendous success back in the age and the time when
He's physical.
Yes, he is, but he has a tendency of coming up lame quite often.
Sometimes.
And could you imagine Ronnie Lott, Gary Fensick, Doug Plank? Can I keep going?
But you're right.
But you know what
You're
I'm
exactly
talking
right.
about.
But he's
Ronnie Lott,
of
not
course.
Ronnie Lott, but Jerry Rice had to face these people.
Yes.
And there were no rules, because you hit him too high. No, you didn't get a penalty to your body.
Well, how
was
about Steve Atwater?
Steve Atwater would hit you, and he would be
Knock your head off.
No,
Yeah.
not only knock your head off.
Right.
They talk about if a defender leaves his feet,
Mm.
and then it became helmet contact. Well, they didn't care if you left your feet a little bit. You had to be parallel with the field and come in like a missile and hit people. Then the tissue paper may come out.
Mm.
A little harder to play wide receiver. back then.
Absolutely is. All right. So let's move on here. Let's talk about the defense. This from our friends there at Joe Bucks Fan. According to Warren Sharp and Sharp
Hang on,
Football
didn't Joe Bucks
Analysis.
Fan show you guys some love?
They did 6 times.
Well, that was really good. Joe
Yes.
Bucks Fan, you're
we
all right, man.
appreciate you guys. We really do. Thank you. I know you like that one, right? You like this one too, right?
I am going to shove this thing so far up your anal canal today before I leave.
All right. So there's some
Right here live
Oh
in
my
Tint
gosh,
World with
you-
an N.
you do not. You are a party pooper.
I
When
am
it
not
comes,
a
you know what?
party pooper.
I think JP has something to say. JP Peterson. You want to know what he has to say? Watch this.
Well, at least when
F you, F you, F you, and F you.
That
Peace
was-
out. I'm going to go have a Guinness.
But,
Yes.
but honestly, that was probably the most intelligent thing that was actually said on this whole show.
From JP.
Yeah.
He's had it lately, man. He's been killing it with the stadium talk.
Oh my God.
Which, by the
guy's
way,
so
are you
right.
convinced? Are you convinced? Oh, look at that light right there.
Yeah, I'm convinced.
You're convinced that it's going to happen in Tampa?
Yeah.
And they're going to sell?
Yeah.
You know, when they sell, I've talked about this on the
hold
show.
But I will tell you this.
I'm going to party like it's 1999.
They are going to finish out their contract here in St. Pete, though. But eventually,
Probably.
they'll finish it out.
Well, they got nowhere else to go unless
Yeah.
they play at Steinbrenner next year.
I say
which
you
is-
just take Tampa Stadium and make it a baseball field too.
Yeah, of course, Savannah Bananas. That's
Why? What's
probably
wrong with Savannah Bananas?
probably not going to happen.
How about no?
Yeah, I don't
You
think
got
it's going to
something
happen.
against have you ever seen the Savannah Bananas play live?
I mean, I know they draw 65,000, but
Do you
the
know why,
dimensions
Pete?
of the stadium, yes, it's fun.
No, it's beyond fun. I
Yes.
never laughed and been in awe as much as then.
Really?
They're the Harlem Globetrotters of baseball. Can you just put those two together? Is that a pretty good analogy?
I think it's a great analogy. That's good. All right. So
Now, what
according
other things
to
I gotta
Sharp
read off
Football
here?
Analysis here, 2025 preview, the Bucs scored 118 points in the first quarter. The Bucs added a whopping 134 more points in the second quarter. That ranked 10th in the NFL and was
This is
more,
last year.
yes, than what they scored in the second quarter in 2023. Okay. Here's the thing, though. The offense was not the problem. The talk was the defense
No shit.
was the problem.
Did I say that? It's not.
You
after
did.
10. I'm so sorry. Tint World. I'm really sorry. With
Yeah,
an N.
that's okay. Yes. So it was blame Todd Bowles in the defense. First half per play basis, they ranked 29 in EPA play, 26 in success rate, 29 in yards per play. On their drive basis, they ranked 28, 30th, 31st, and 25th. 31st in turnovers forced per drive. That's 7 interceptions. 30th in scoring drive rate and 25th in touchdowns allowed drive. So again, this is on the offense, but this is the reason why you have to be excited about Todd Bowles in the defense coming in, because you look at these numbers, and this is from Warren Sharp and care of our friends there at Joe Bucks Fan. This is about the defense improving. Have they done enough in your estimation to improve this defense? Yes or no?
Yes. And I'll
Okay.
say it again.
Okay.
If the Buccaneers are not successful this year, it's going to be because of two things. One, first and foremost, the defense.
Mhm.
Second, will Baker stay healthy? Those
Right.
are the only two things. They've addressed the defense. The odds are against them because
Mhm.
2 consecutive years that defense has not looked good, but I think they've done enough. By the way, did they change their strength and conditioning coach yet? Because that's a lot of the reasons why these defenders are getting hurt.
I don't think they have. I just think I think honestly, it's not
I
just
don't-
the
I don't
strength
believe in
and
coincidence.
conditioning.
It's strength and conditioning.
I think it's more of, and let me throw this out there because Leo Haggerty, the legend himself, former Coach Scout and now media member of Night Sports Productions and Amped Up Sports, was astute when bringing this up. You don't have as much practice time anymore. You don't have as much preseason time
But neither-
anymore. You
but
don't have
neither
as much
do-
hitting.
Neither do the rest of the teams in the National Football League.
So,
This has to do with strength and conditioning.
I don't know anything
And that's
about
out of
strength and
Roberto's mouth.
It is?
Yes.
Okay.
You want to take the advice from a
Well, yeah, I definitely would.
from a Hall of Famer?
I definitely would.
Okay, so would I.
Definitely would. So, all right. So more analysis here nationally from NFL executive Mark Ross explained during NFL Network's The Insiders. He had this to say: that's that continuity. You're not thinking about who's coming in. You have two key figures working together, and I'm sure Jason and Todd have had a fabulous working relationship, and everybody in that building feels that. You see the results. Of course, Bowles being 27 and 24. There's been, some criticism when it comes to that extension from some of the Bucs fan. Of course, the rumor was out there from Mike Florio that it would be Bill Belichick, but to me, that's just erroneous. That's just him trying to connect the dots with Jason Light. And of course, Bill Belichick. I think it's passed him by, if you will. He also has this to say. I think what Todd Bowles has done is really show how to bring a team together with the stability. That stability, that continuity, I think you see the results with the Bucs, and I think they're the favorite once again to win in the division and make some more hay in the playoffs. Of course, the DraftKings Sportsbook, this is where you come in, my friend, has the Buccaneers as minus 110 betting favorites to finish the upcoming season up top the division standings.
I don't like laying any juice.
I know
None.
you don't.
Zero.
I know
None.
you don't.
110 is
but
almost pick them, but you've got to find them to where there are sports books out there right now. You can find them in even money. I understand it's only $10. I'm sorry. I don't want to lay any juice. If I'm going to make a wager, I want to make a wager where I'm either in the positive or it's wager for wager. And there are sports books out there right now. And if you can find them for the Buccaneers to win this division at even money or better, take it. If you want a surprise team in this division where you can make 5 and 8, sometimes 9-1 on your money,
Panthers?
You go with the Panthers.
Why the Panthers? What do you think separates them from the Falcons? I don't think the Saints are in it because the Saints don't have a quarterback when it comes down to who's your quarterback. Is a rookie quarterback? Who's their quarterback at the end of the day? You don't know.
The New Orleans Saints are in trouble this year.
Big time.
Okay. When I watched the last 5 or 6 games, I've watched a lot of continuity. I'm seeing the team actually start to gel together, and I'm seeing Bryce Young playing a lot better together. The other problem is who's going to be playing quarterback in the Atlanta Falcons sitting right above us, who, by the way, is just as talented as this Tampa Bay Buccaneer team. But sometimes talent, Pete, doesn't necessarily make a point of winning the division.
Well, Michael Penix is coming into his second year, so you would assume
Kirk Cousins is still on the team.
Right?
Okay.
Supposedly.
Okay, so if Michael Penix comes out, and now they got 4 or 5 games of tape on Penix
But
Jr.
is that it? Let me put this out there. Is that a distraction? Because Kirk Cousins was the guy who's making $180 million with the contract.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's not even close. It's going to be a distraction. Although Kirk Cousins is the consummate gentleman, he's going to act like the typical team player. He's not going to be that person who's going to be sitting on the sideline crying. But trust me, at that kind of money, and he's toward the end of his career, he's going to want to play.
Mm-hmm.
And Pete, you and I both know that city's divided. Half that city wants Cousins because they know the experience that he has, and the other half of the city wants Michael Penix Jr. So if Penix is starting the season off, Peter, unfortunately, if he's not having a good season, you've been a Tampa fan your whole life. They're always clamoring for the backup quarterback.
Always the most popular position.
And it's going to be the other way around.
Yeah.
If it's Kirk Cousins, they're going to be clamoring for him. That's why I believe that the Atlanta Falcons could be in trouble this year. And another reason is they lost their best defensive lineman to the Chicago Bears. And
Correct.
They lost their center, who's arguably probably a top 5 center in all of football. Not easy to fill those 2 positions, especially when the one is the field general on the offense. Bet the under if you're going to do a proposition bet on the total amount of games that the Atlanta Falcons are going to win. Bet the over on the Carolina Panthers on how many games they're going to win. And if you can find even money, you didn't hear me say minus 110 or even 105. If you can find even money on the Buccaneers that win the division, go ahead and do it. So that means for every 100 you wager, you're going to get 100 back. If you wager, you have to wager 110 or 140 or even 150 to win 100. It's just not financially conducive.
Yeah, no, absolutely. TJ Hicks says the Panthers, haha, no way.
Well, you can say no way, man. Go back and watch the last 4 games. Seriously, I'm not a Panthers fan. I'm a realist. This team's going to sneak up on some teams. I'll tell you what right now. What do you want to bet? That the Panthers end up with a better record than the Atlanta Falcons.
Wow.
That's a challenge.
That's bold, my friend.
Correct.
All right.
Considering the Falcons are over and under is 9 games and the Panthers is 6. Okay.
So you bet the over with Dave Canales and the Panthers this year. How many wins? How many wins?
I got the Panthers between 9 and 10.
And you look at that December schedule with the Bucs and back-to-back weeks there. That becomes more difficult. We'll see. We'll see if Harry the Greek is correct. And again, like the majority of time he is.
In case you're just tuning in.
Yes, tell him where we're at, because you're going to say I'm not.
I'm not advocating that the
Tint
Carolina
World.
Panthers are the team.
Right.
I'm just saying they're a lot better. Anyway, we're live at Tint World with an N. No dancing poles up in here.
I hate you. I really, really hate you.
Come in and see Sean. Make sure you come in and see Sean. We're at 6790 U.S. Highway 19 North. We are just south of Park Boulevard, right here on US 19 in the southbound lanes. Make sure you come in and tell them Harry the Greek sent you. And Peter's going to take everybody out for wings and beer after this.
Oh, absolutely. Do you see what's in the background there? Because I know you didn't want me to mention it, but I have to mention it because I talked to Todd about this. Do you see what's in the back right there?
Yeah, there's a car.
Yeah. What is that car? What is that?
I don't care.
Yeah.
I see cars every day.
That's right there. That's my car right there.
Every day I'm in the auto world.
So we'll see how it looks. I'm excited about seeing how it looks doing Uber, because right after this, I'm going to break down, go home, take Alexander out, and then go back on the road again.
Uber,
baby.
Oh,
all day and all night long if I can.
Well,
So
you got me for about 5 more minutes. I have to bounce. I have to get over to the horse track. I've got a lot of plays to go ahead and get out. Saratoga just opened up.
Okay.
And for those of you that want to come out and join me, I'll buy you a drink. Let's have a good time. I got some really good horse picks out there.
All right, good stuff there. So Jason Lane had some comments, and this was on Rick Stroud's Tampa Bay, Sports Day Tampa Bay, about Todd Bowles, equating the lack thereof when it comes to popularity of this coach from the fan base. I don't think the general public and for the fans truly know Todd's personality. Todd's very stoic, the way he carries himself. He's steady. He's very positive. A quality to him. At One Buck Place, he jokes around, gives everybody. That's what he said, not what I said. And I mean, he's fun. I think if people saw that, they would think a little differently. And he goes, I'm not asking Todd to do anything different in front of the microphone at all. But secondly, he's really hard to follow the coach that just won the Super Bowl. It's iconic, like Bruce Arians, which I know you're not a big time fan, but that's okay.
I love the risk it, no biscuit.
Right. You know, it's hard. It's like Baker Mayfield following Tom Brady. That's a great comparison by Jason Light, by the way. But we've heard from Kalijah Cansey how he says he's sarcastic, how he would run through a wall for him. Antoine Winfield Jr. on this show saying how much of a great coach he is. And I just throw that out there with all the fans saying Todd Bowles is not going to take them anywhere. And I understand the playoff record being 1-3 of what it is. But these players continue to not give up on Todd Bowles when they get into a situation when they have their backs against the wall, or they have that, that mid-season lull, if you will. They don't give up. They're not getting their doors blown off. So that's what I don't understand. Like, everybody is so intrinsically
intrinsically?
Yes, Leo word. They want
Here, let me Google this.
Well, you can go ahead and Google it. Yeah, you like that?
No, I don't.
Why not?
Because you're making me feel stupid here. I love it.
Okay, well, listen, they want the same as what John Gruden is. They want the rah coach, but that doesn't always translate to wins and losses in the National Football League. Look at the record for Todd Bowles. And I was thinking about this the other day. Somebody said if Todd Bowles wins a Super Bowl, he's already won a Super Bowl as a defensive coordinator. If he wins another Super Bowl with his record, could he be considered the greatest Tampa Bay coach of all time?
Todd Bowles?
Yes.
No.
Think about it, though.
No.
If he wins 2 Super Bowls.
No.
Why?
No, because there were great coaches that this.
Is he better than John Gruden? If he wins a second Super Bowl, he won a Super Bowl as a defensive coordinator.
No, he's not better than John Gruden. I still say a coach is very instrumental in what your team is going to do, but the players are the people that actually get you over the finish line.
And a lot of players would say
I love John Bowles.
A lot of. Yeah, it's not John Bowles. It's
Todd Bowles.
Todd Bowles. Yeah,
John,
his brother.
John Gruden. Yeah. How about John Gruden?
A lot of his players.
John Bowles.
Todd Gruden. John Gruden. Yeah, Todd Gruden.
You're really starting to piss me off here.
Tony Gruden, because people would say it's Tony Dungy's team.
Oh my God.
I liked it, Tony Dungy's team when John Gruden won. But you know what the difference is? Here's the difference, though. Here's the difference between Todd Bowles.
I thought Sam Weiss was a great coach too.
But if you look at the record, if you look at the fact he's won 2 Super Bowls,
could have been a great coach.
I'm just throwing. If you look at the record, if you look at the fact he's won 2, if he wins 2 Super Bowls, he wins one as a head coach.
He would have to be considered the greatest coach.
Thank you.
But is he?
Not yet. But I'm just saying, and the fan base would still not give him the credit and support. I feel like it's almost a Mike Tomlin situation, if that's a good comparison.
Well, let's not go down that rabbit hole because I know.
Well, the rabbit hole is that Mike Tomlin every year is expected to win a Super Bowl.
Doesn't get the accolades that he actually deserves, just even being an NFL head coach.
Right.
But FYI, he hasn't had a losing season except for this year. Bet the under on Pittsburgh.
And by the way, Todd Bowles hasn't either.
Peter?
Yeah. Besides with the Jets.
Do you remember the Mickey Mouse Club?
Yes. What was that Mickey Mouse Club?
When they turned around and says, now it's time to say goodbye.
You should just stay a little bit longer here.
Just a little bit longer.
Just a little bit.
How much longer do you need?
Well, we're at 121. Do you want to do until 1:30? We'll do an hour and 30 minutes.
We're going to go to 1:30,
and then we'll get off. We won't do 2 hours.
But I do want to talk about Tint World.
Please do. And by the way, it's not just window tint here. You can get your speakers done. Your lights done.
Equipment, wraps,
yes, everything.
Absolutely.
Speakers are over here, Memphis sound. I mean, I don't even have to get mine in the Tesla. The stock is just amazing in itself. It's
Make sure you go
entertaining
ahead
too,
and
by
write
the
this
way.
down and call this phone number 727-341-9595. And his name is Sean Lemaitre. We are here in Pinellas Park, right here on US 19, just south of Park Boulevard. And the address is 6790 US Highway 19 North. Right here in Pinellas Park. Make sure you tell them that Harry the Greek and Peter Blake sent you.
The Rolex Reporter. That's right. Open phone line 727-255-0391 and 727-255-0391.
People out there sleeping.
I'm telling you, I think we try to pick this day. We were thinking, maybe after the holiday.
You're not used to seeing, Monday and Wednesdays, on a Saturday morning.
On a Saturday morning, reminds me of old school.
Everybody knows that I don't do this.
Right. You
on
don't
the
do
weekends.
this? Haha, Sam, really? But it's good to have you out here. And if you didn't have to do something, I would say, maybe we'll go buy lunch or something.
Who? You?
Yeah.
Hell froze over, ladies and gentlemen.
I make some money now. I'm making some money.
Hold on.
We go to Portillo's.
Sean, did you?
I'll have ketchup on my hot
Portillo's?
dog just for you.
You know what? Get off of my set. You can put ketchup on a hot dog? Are you out of your tree?
That's good enough to suck right there.
I knew that would get you.
I think Sean should take your Tesla and turn it into a Pinto.
Listen, leave my Tesla alone. All right.
You kidding me?
Leave sexy red alone. Leave that Go Bucs red Tesla alone right there in the back. Love it.
I think it just turned into a Ford Tesla. I mean Pinto.
I really, really hate you.
That's good enough to suck right there.
Peter, you don't even know what a Pinto is.
I know what a Pinto is.
Really?
I think my dad used to drive a Pinto.
Not the bean that you eat. Okay?
No, it's not a pinto bean, you jerk. I remember my dad driving a Pinto.
We're really going to go off topic here.
Go for it.
Did you remember?
Ketchup all day, by the way. Michael says, thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Who said ketchup all day in a hot dog?
A webhead right there. Michael Sorgill.
Go back to Nick Papagerio.
Yes,
my boy.
Papagerio.
What
Yes,
did
your
Nick
boy.
say?
He says, Greek, get the day off today.
Yeah, no. You see, he kept me hostage. I'm supposed to be at the horse track today making money, Nick.
Oh, well, what would you rather be? Would you rather be here in Pinellas Park hanging out and doing the evolution of sports talk television or, some horse track?
I did make a couple of nice friends up here, and God knows
Yeah.
I don't have many.
See, you have lots of friends. You have lots of friends
Nick, thanks for tuning in.
in low places, like Garth Brooks would say.
So, do you remember before computers were around, and in the 70s? Well, wait a minute, you're not that old, but anyway, in the 70s,
I was born in 78.
There was Consumer Reports book. Everybody here, and everybody remember the Consumer Report books?
Yes.
You read it out. They talk about cars.
Sure.
Would you believe me if I told you that for 4 straight years, that the Ford Pinto was the safest car in America? They had it listed. I'm not kidding you. Look it up. And this is a car for people that don't realize that if you had more than a 15-mile-an-hour impact on the ass of the car would blow up. It'd literally blow up. But here's a better one. How many Wayne's World fans are out there? Remember the movie Wayne's World?
Wayne's World.
Now, do you also remember?
Excellent.
Hold on. You remember the car that they used to have back there, the AMC Pacer?
Yes.
First off, I would love to see Tint World try to tint that bubble of a car, because that one's like next to impossible, but I bet you they could do it. If he put the information in the computer, spit the tint, it would say, "Oh, what? A Pacer."
Huh?
But anyway, that was America's car for 4 years strong. Just think about it.
Did you say what?
What?
Oh my God, Peter! I swear to God, those sound effects, you've got them going in my ears.
They're not that loud.
I hate you, but that's okay.
Stan Mikita there, by the way, in that movie. They did it in Aurora, Illinois?
At least you didn't use the S at the end of it. Yes, it's Illinois.
Okay, I said Illinois.
Yes, you did.
Okay, I did it right.
Sam Mikita, ex-Chicago Blackhawk.
That is correct.
Extraordinary.
I know
hockey
some
player.
stuff. I know some Chicago stuff. I grew up on Chicago sports when
But
you
you're
didn't have
also
Tampa
a Cub
Bay.
fan. Oh my God.
They had nothing else. What did you have at that point? They mostly showed the Cubs on WGN. It was either the Atlanta Braves on TBS, which were god awful, besides the 90-91.
Cubs
with
and
David
Cubs
Joseph,
fans
Sid
do
Bream.
nothing but go out and get, I don't know, smoothies and.
You had Andre Dawson, you had Ryan Sandberg, you had Mark Grace, you had Sean Dunston, you had the Mad Dog, Greg Maddux, you had what's his name, Rick Sutcliffe, you had Mitch Williams, you had Harry Carey, you had Steve Stone, You had George Bell there for a little
by
bit.
the way, Steve Stone's with the White Sox again.
Well, but he was with the Cubs before.
I understand that, but he's been with the White Sox a lot longer.
And one of the greatest announcers of all time. I don't care what anybody says. Harry Carey. He probably couldn't make it today.
You want to hear a funny Harry Carey story?
Give me a funny Harry Carey story, and we'll wrap this up in 4 minutes.
It just slipped my mind.
Well, there you go.
You got to be kidding. That's funny.
There you go.
That's just
happy birthday.
Who was that Baltimore Oriole? Rafael. Oh yeah.
Rafael Palmeiro.
Steve Stone sitting on one side, and anybody that knew Harry Carey.
Yeah.
When he started out the game, and he goes, "Hi, I'm Harry Carey. Welcome to WGN Baseball." And he was just all funny and and very,
I can't
very
even do
informative.
It. Right.
But they brought Steve Stone in because he was the baseball player.
Right.
He was a guy that gave all the analytics what was going on.
Sure.
And after the second inning, Harry Carey had already put down 4 old styles. Okay.
Absolutely.
So Rafael Palmeiro in his rookie year comes up and he goes, "Hey, Steve, you see this guy? This guy's name is Rafael Palmeiro. Good-looking kid. Really good-looking kid. Too bad he struck out. What a good-looking kid, Rafael Palmeiro." So after the second time up, he does the same thing. And then the third time he comes up, it's in the 7th inning. And he goes, "Steve." And he goes, "Yeah, Harry, I know. Rafael Palmeiro, good-looking guy." And he goes, "Well, gee, Steve, you seem like you're upset." And he goes, "Go have another old style."
Old style.
Live,
I remember
live on WGN.
Yes.
He did that. It was just the
I
most
remember being on the
unbelievable
West.
thing.
They're on the West Coast. The Cubs are playing the Dodgers, and this guy's getting lit up. And I can hear Harry saying, "This guy's got nothing."
That wouldn't be out of a phone booth.
Right.
And no, seriously, there'd be times in the 8th inning.
Yes.
There'd be a routine fly ball.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It's a drive deep. Oh, the second baseman got it.
Joe Sway says it's YouTube here. You can curse on here. Well, we try not to.
I try not to
curse to
guys.
Do all that other stuff.
It's only after 10 o'clock.
It is Saturday.
And look. At least Nick. At least Nick sticks up for me.
Money he says track money. The robbery of Harry.
Yeah, the robbery of Harry.
The robbery.
Nick,
This is not robbery. This is not robbery. We got 2 minutes. I got 2 minutes to go here. So something else on your mind. We go back to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Want to talk about this really quick. They're going to be hyped up. Are you believing the hype? You said you think they're going to have under.
I'm going to tell you why. And it's not because I hated the Green Bay Packers being an NFC North kind of guy.
Aaron Rodgers got anything left for the Pittsburgh Steelers? And can Mike Tomlin get the most out of him? Because Mike Tomlin's always proved that he gets the most out of his players.
I think
it's tough for me to take that bet, Harry. I got to tell you.
I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
He's not the player that he was. He's a shell of himself. His mind still thinks he's 35. His body's over 40 years old. Pete.
Yes.
And for someone that's played the game, trust me, it takes a toll on your body. He doesn't move around. He can still make a lot of throws. He's not going to have that come on, Pete. You've seen the regression of his deep pass over in New York and what used to get him away. And that quick release is not as quick as what it once was. But they have a great defense, and if they can run the football, and if Tomlin can convince Aaron Rodgers, key point, if Tomlin can convince Aaron Rodgers to play a big run game and run to set the pass up, this team can be successful. But we're talking about Aaron Rodgers with an ego bigger than the place that I'm sitting in.
It's true. Can he change his game, though? Well, let me ask you this, because we heard lots of allegations or lots of stories and reports that he upset the locker room. The owner should have taken him out as a starter, should have traded him, got him out of there. He's a cancer. Will Mike Tomlin allow him to do that to the locker room?
He's going to have to let him do it because they went all in with him. The other question is this. If the Pittsburgh Steelers do not come out blazing hot when it comes time, and this isn't a joke, this is a real question I'm going to ask. That bye week is very important to get your team together. Is Aaron Rodgers going to do that he's done in the past 2 or 3 years, to go out to one of his retreats for a week, to go smoke a hookah pipe so he can go be one with the spirits?
Haluska.
Well, whatever.
In the dark room.
But if that happens, then
darkness here is my old friend.
I'm just going to tell you right now, I don't like Pittsburgh. Anyway, Pete.
Hold on. We got some comments here, and I've got an important comment.
More comments.
All right, yes. Loved Ed O'Neill in Wayne's World. You love Ed O'Neill? He's kind of playing the character from Married with Children. By the way, is that one of the most underrated shows of all time, Married with Children? I love that. And it took place in Chicago, by the way, right?
Everything good takes place in Chicago. Just tell the sideline reporter, who I know is watching, Mr. TJ Reeves.
He is.
Everything is better in Chicago, isn't it, TJ?
Yeah, I think it
kills me to tell you that.
I think he might disagree with you.
But
yes.
TJ Reeves, he goes to a Chicago place to get real food.
Calling out TJ Reeves, the media icon here. Nick says Rodgers is going to destroy that locker room. Will get Tomlin fired. And see, I think the exact opposite. I believe in Mike Tomlin being able to get the most out of his players. And because Aaron Rodgers, and I believe he's not the player he was 5 years ago, but somehow, some way, Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to compete, and he's going to get the most out of them. And with Jalen Ramsey, I don't know, man. I don't know.
I don't see that happening. Honestly, I just don't.
Well, we will definitely monitor that situation.
I think the man is playing for more ego than he is actually playing for a team, and that's horrible. And I hope I'm wrong, because honestly, that year that he had last year has really it's really tarnished his legacy as a player. And if he has a worse year this year, Aaron Rodgers is just going to be known as just another normal quarterback. Honestly, I'm sorry.
Right. Well, is it desperation, in your opinion, by the Steelers and by Tomlin?
No, I think
to do this?
I think he's yes, and I also think that, dare I say this, I could be wrong. And again, this is just my opinion. My opinions don't necessarily reflect Peter Blake or the Sports Web, but I think he was really jealous of what Tom Brady was able to accomplish, and even before his time, like a Johnny Unitas. I mean, Unitas played too. He was an old guy as well.
Sure. Absolutely. All right. The media icon says, have you given the no spoilers review of the Brad Pitt F1 movie yet? By the way, if you want to go see a great movie, F1, the movie with Brad Pitt, who's like 61 years old, race car driver, tremendous. I'm not a race car fan, but Brad Pitt is tremendous in this movie. It is a movie from start to end that'll keep you on the edge of your seat. You got to go see it. F1.
Okay.
Are you excited?
I'm excited.
What'd you eat today for dinner?
Oh my God.
Or breakfast?
Will you stop, Pete?
I had the worst chocolate muffins of all time.
I hate you.
They were absolutely terrible. I was on my way here and I was like, I'm gonna get something quick. Yeah, not next time. I ain't doing that next time. But yes, F1 the movie with Brad Pitt. Which, by the way, what was his name? What movie did he star in? The baseball movie. That's classic. Oh, hold on. We got calls. Let's go out to Eric Moreno here. Welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television with yours truly, along with Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire.
What's up, Eric?
What's going on? Bring the passion, bring the excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense, Harry and Peter. What's going on, guys?
Man, I'm doing great here. I know you either want to talk some Rays or you want to talk some Bucs. So what's on your mind today, my friend?
Yeah, I mean, I said when the Rays, went on this big run, I'm like, okay, we're gonna have, some games, I'm like, but the Orioles, you were lucky to win, one of those games, and then
Can I help
Oakland,
you out here? You have a 6-0 lead on Friday night. You're on Apple TV, which, by the way, most of the Rays fans couldn't see. You're feeling good about yourself at the end of the day, and then all of a sudden you lose 22-8. You're not supposed to lose to the Orioles because they're in last place. I get it; they're being competitive, and then you come home after you swept the Kansas City Royals on the road, and you get dominated by the Oakland A's at this point.
And you almost get swept.
I can't figure this team out. It's just insanity, but it's baseball for you. It's the ebbs and flows of the game and why it's so long.
I'm hoping for a 5-5 trip, and then,
5-5.
Maybe.
5-5 is like kissing your sister. No,
5-5 is kissing your sister at this point.
If you win the next two games, you got to.
This team better go.
Tigers.
This team better go 7-3 on this road trip, or do not even think about being contenders for making a wild card, let alone even making the division. They better go 7-3. This is the most important road trip of the season for them.
Yeah,
this one right here, because the Yankees are playing horrible, and Toronto eventually is going to come back to reality because they don't have the pitching, they don't have the bullpen.
Yeah,
but then again, Tampa doesn't have the great sticks. Eric, man, that's great. Thanks for calling in, buddy.
Moreno, hold on.
You got one from?
Yeah, one more. Moreno, go ahead. What else do you want to talk about?
I'm excited for this year. I mean, I think the Bucs going to have the best offensive line in football, the best backfield in football, the best duo in football, the best. I with Hassan Reddick and Yaya Hope. I mean, y'all having a good year, and Vita and Canty. Just I was worried about the secondary, but I think we have enough secondary. Maybe Dean can stay healthy.
Well, the
and
secondary is going to look better because the pass rush is going to be there. That's what the
Yes.
problem last year was.
Yeah.
You could take a mediocre secondary and make them look
Oh.
really good because you're getting to the quarterback. You can you could have a great secondary and you could have no pass rush, and now you look like you've got a bunch of college players out there.
True. Moreno, I appreciate the call, man. Hang in there, all right?
All right, man, Harry and Peter, thank you.
Eric,
Yep,
take
thank
care,
you.
man.
Good
Thanks for the
stuff.
call.
All
Thanks
right,
for the
we'll
call,
continue to read these comments here, but the question was Brad Pitt starred in Moneyball.
Moneyball, that's right, from
Billy
the
Bean.
Oakland A's.
Yeah.
That's
Billy
when
Bean.
all the analytics started, all that crap.
Well, but it's so sad because what you realize is
Comments. I like comments. You said you were going to leave the nonsense
all right.
at home.
All right. Harry is right. They're all on him. He's going to cost Tomlin and staff his job. Nick says, make sure to save my comments. Rodgers will be out by week 4. Week 4?
I don't know by week
Over
4.
under week 4. Come on. I'm putting you on the spot right now. Gambling extraordinaire. Come on. Handicapper extraordinaire. Week 4, over or under?
I'm going to say week 4 through 6, he will be hurt.
Okay. All right.
Unfortunately, he's just too old.
All right. There you go.
Especially in that division. I mean, think about who's playing in that division. Go ahead. Next.
It's a great comment here.
I can't read it.
Well, then you got to get your eyes checked. I miss Harry not being on your show all the time. You guys are fun and entertaining together. We are. This is what I'm talking about right
don't
here.
make Peter's head up, but thank you for the
Yeah,
compliment.
give me.
I'll give you a fist bump.
I'm gonna give you.
Oh my God! Oh, go away from me!
I'm gonna wrestle you right now.
You're gonna
give you the
wrestle me.
elbow, Dusty Rose elbow, right in your head.
There you go. Next.
All right. Pitt is fantastic at Moneyball, playing A's GM Billy Bean. Absolutely.
Great movie.
And the
TJ.
saddest
Great
thing
movie.
about it is he's a great judge of talent, but he doesn't believe in his own self, because if he did, he would have taken that job with the Boston Red Sox for $12.5 million, which, by the way, they say that they use Moneyball, but by the way, they also leave out that they spent money in the first place. Lunch bet, Harry.
Lunch bet?
Yes,
Heck, you
lunch
still
bet.
owe me dinner.
You
How
still
am I
owe me a
supposed-
steak.
Oh, wait a minute. Nick, I take that back. Yes, I'll do a lunch bet with you, sir.
All right. Lunch bet.
And
Final thoughts
and
here.
Hold on. And Nick, if I lose, I'll make John, you know who I'm talking about. I'll make John buy the airline ticket and fly you down.
There you go. Give me some final thoughts here at.
We're at Tint World today. Thank you guys for letting us come by today.
Yeah, well, no, it was great.
That's Tint with an N.
Yes, tent with an N. Yes.
No dancing poles.
Yes.
No women. They're not dancing around. Tint World.
Oh, here's the final thought for you.
That's good enough to suck right there.
Oh, I'm gone.
All right, so for
I'm
Harry
kidding.
the Greek here, I'm your host, Peter Blake. 3 things. You know him, you love him, you got to have him here on a July 5th. Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. I'm your host, Peter Blake, your Rolex reporter. What time is it? It's my time. And for fans of the Sports Web and the Tampa Bay Sports Fan, it's your time. We'll see you next time on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. And as we always say on this show, go Bucs.
And keep your bets low and your returns high. Take care, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.